The night sky above Elleries was full of stars, but on the ground the people were screaming. Buildings burned. Air sirens echoed. And in the distance, pirate ships rained down fire. Elleries was a peaceful alien colony. Farmers, artists, children, it was a place of beauty. But that night, everything changed. A fleet of pirates came without warning. They weren't stealing, they were destroying. Inside a small tower, Governor Thallon sent out an emergency signal. "This is Alaris. We are under attack. Please, anyone help us." They expected help from the Galactic Council. After all, Alaris was a member world. They paid taxes. They followed laws. Help should come quickly. But hours passed, then days. No help came. The people began to lose hope. Some died waiting. Others ran into the woods. The skies were still red with fire. Far away, on a planet the galaxy feared, someone heard the signal. That planet was called Earth. Most aliens called it a death world. High gravity, toxic plants, wild animals, violent weather. Only one species survived there, humans, and they didn't just survive. They thrived, inside an old Earth listening station. A man named Commander Rex Ward stood quietly. His face was calm, but his eyes were cold. He replayed the Alaris distress signal, again and again. He had heard the pain in Thallon's voice. He had heard the screams in the background. Commander Ward walked to his ship, the Indomitable. A dark, heavy war cruiser, made of black steel and old fire. His crew looked at him. "We're not part of this war," one officer said. "No," Ward replied. "But they called for help." He sent one message back to Alaris. "This is Earth. Help is coming." Then the Indomitable lifted off into space. Back on Alaris, the pirates were preparing to leave. They had burned enough, stolen enough, and killed enough. Governor Thallon sat in the ruins, staring at the sky. His face was pale, his body weak. He didn't believe the message from Earth. Why would Deathworlders come? He had heard the stories that humans were monsters, that they burned planets, that they fought like beasts. But at that moment, a giant shadow moved across the clouds. The ground rumbled, windows shook. The Indomitable had arrived. The ship didn't speak. It didn't warn. It simply opened its lower band. Hundreds of black armored soldiers dropped from the sky. Human soldiers. They moved in silence. Their armor was thick. Their weapons were strange. Their helmets glowed red in the smoke. The pirates tried to fight. They failed. Within 20 minutes, the battlefield was silent. The pirates were either captured or dead. The human soldiers stood still, waiting. Then Commander Ward stepped onto the planet. He walked toward Governor Thallon. "Are you the one who called for help?" he asked. Thallon nodded slowly. "I didn't think anyone would come." Ward looked at the destroyed city. "Did, but we're not done." That night, the humans helped build shelters. They gave food, water, medical supplies, but they didn't smile much. They didn't speak unless needed. Thallon noticed something strange. The human soldiers didn't rest. They worked all night. One soldier, a woman with a scar over her eye, fixed a child's toy before handing him water. "Why are you doing this?" Thallon asked her. She looked at him and said, "Because no one helped us once, and we never forgot." Later, Ward stood inside the council hall ruins. He examined a dead pirate body. Something about it seemed wrong. He pulled out a weapon from the corpse's belt. It had a council military symbol. Ward stared at it. Then he spoke into his communicator. "Get me Earth Command. We have a problem." Far above the planet, in the shadows of space, something moved. A large ship. Not human, not pirate. Its engines were silent. Its body black glass. It had no flags. But inside was something watching the humans back on Earth. Alarms rang in military stations. Council ships were moving in strange patterns. Unknown. Fleets were gathering. Something big was coming. And Earth knew one thing. This was not just about pirates anymore. Smoke still rose over the city of Elarus. The human soldiers had saved it from the pirates, but no one was celebrating. The people were tired. Their homes were gone. The children had seen too much, but something was different now. Hope had returned in the central square. A small girl walked up to a tall human soldier and gave him a broken flower. The soldier, large and covered in armor, knelt slowly. He took the flower and said just one word, "Thank you." Commander Rex Ward stood inside the council hall ruins, holding a pirate weapon. It was council-made. That was not supposed to happen. Pirates used stolen tech, old junk, cheap blasters. But this weapon was new, military grade, with fresh council tags. He turned to his communication officer. "Send a message to Earth Command. Priority red." The officer nodded. "Yes, sir." Ward's jaw tightened. His voice was low. "Someone in the council gave these pirates weapons. And I want to know who that evening in a quiet meeting was. Held on the Indomitable, 3 human officers sat with Ward. Going over the data, one of them, a young woman named Lieutenant Kayla Voss, looked pale. "Sir, we've traced the serial numbers. These weapons were signed out to a council Black Ops unit 2 months ago. Official use. Nothing to do with pirates." Ward didn't blink. Then why were they here? Silence. Then he spoke again. They didn't ignore Alaris. They let it burn. On purpose. On the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Council headquarters was in chaos. Reports were coming in. Human fleet spotted near Galvex 3. Deathworlders ignoring Council commands. Indomitable has seized illegal weapons. Council Leader Morinvel slammed the table. "We told Earth to stay out of our matters." But one ambassador from a smaller planet stood up. "They answered a call we all ignored. We should be thankful." Bell's eyes narrowed. "We don't need Deathworld justice. We need control." But he was wrong. The humans weren't asking permission. On Alaris, the people began rebuilding. And the humans stayed to help. They didn't sleep much. They worked fast. They set up machines that purified water and rebuilt walls in hours. Thalen, the governor, noticed something strange. Humans didn't act like conquerors. They acted like people who had lost something before and didn't want others to lose it too. One night, Thalan walked beside Commander Ward. "Why did you really come?" Thalan asked. Ward didn't answer right away. Then he looked at the stars and spoke softly. "Because when Earth was dying, no one helped us." Thalan blinked. "You mean?" Ward nodded. "We begged. We cried. We sent out signals, just like you did. No one came. So we built our own defense. We trained. We waited." He turned to Thalan. "Now, we don't wait anymore." 3 days later, a second human fleet arrived. It was massive. 10 warships, hundreds of fighter drones, medical cruisers, supply ships. It didn't look like a rescue. It looked like vengeance. Each ship bore the same white mark on its hull. You hurt one, you face all. From the bridge of the Indomitable, Ward sent a message to Earth, requesting activation of protocol, retribution. The answer came 5 seconds later. Approved. A quiet alert sounded on every human ship. The screen flashed red. Retribution. Bode. ACTIV human soldiers across the fleet loaded weapons. Pilots climbed into their crafts. Old codes were unlocked. The galaxy held its breath. Then the humans sent a message, not just to the Council, but to the whole galaxy. Says Earth. "We received a distress call," we answered. "Now we have evidence of Council support in the attack. We are not asking for war. We are giving you a chance to stop it. Turn over those responsible, or we will find them. We are not diplomats. We are Deathworlders. We never forget." The message shocked every system. Some laughed. Some were afraid. But a few planets whispered the same thing. Maybe. The humans are right. Back on Alaris, children painted the walls with human flags. Thalan looked at the sky and saw hundreds of human ships above. He didn't know what would happen next. But he did know this. The galaxy had changed, and the Deathworlders were no longer staying silent. Across the stars, everyone had seen the human's message. Some thought it was a bluff. Others were afraid. But no one could ignore it. The galaxy now knew. Earth had awakened. Inside the high tower of the Galactic Council headquarters, alarms were flashing. Council leader Moran Vel walked back and forth in front of a giant screen showing the Earth fleet's movements. "They've sent 10 ships to Galvex 3, he shouted. "Yes, sir," replied his aide. "Heavy war cruisers? No warning, no diplomacy." Shh. Galvex 3 was a pirate base. Secret, hidden, protected by Council satellites. The Council had allowed it to exist for profit, for control, for silence. Now it was about to face the most feared force in space. "Send them a warning," Vel growled. "If they attack, you respond with everything." Far away in the darkness of space, Earth's fleet moved like a wave. Their ships were thick, armored, and silent. No music, no flashing lights, just raw power. Inside the lead ship, the indomitable Commander Rex Ward stood at the window. He could see Galvex 3 ahead, a metal moon, covered in weapons and walls. Next to him stood Lieutenant Voss, her face pale. "Sir, their defense grid is active, I know," Ward said. "Are we going to ask them to stand down?" "No." He turned to his crew. "Prepare the Nova cannons." A quiet moment passed. Then the lights inside the Indomitable turned red. On Galvex 3. Pirate leaders were celebrating. They had heard about Earth's fleet, but they weren't afraid. "The Council will protect us," said one pirate captain. "Earth can't start a war." Then the alarms started. Red lights, screams, static messages, incoming, massive energy readings, and then dash boom in one single minute. The sky over Galvex 3 turned white. 3 Earth warships fired together. The shields of Galvex 3 shattered. Its outer walls exploded. Fighters launched but were shot down in seconds. The pirates tried to run. They failed. From space, the Council watched it all in real time. Their screens showed fire, smoke, broken ships. They couldn't believe it. Council leader Vel slammed his fist. "They destroyed Galvex 3 without permission." "That was a Council site," his assistant whispered, terrified. "Sir, the public is cheering." Vel blinked. "What? Many outer worlds? They're calling humans heroes?" "They say we allowed the pirates. The people are turning against." News channels across the galaxy showed the same image. One Earth soldier standing over a burning Council weapon cache. Below it, simple title, "They came, they cleaned, they're not done." Meanwhile, on the Indomitable Ward stood at the battle report screen. "Casualties?" he asked. "None, sir. We lost no one. They never touched us." Ward nodded. Then he gave a chilling order. "Send message to Earth. Phase 2 is complete. Awaiting new target." Voss looked at him. "Sir, where next?" He didn't smile. He just stared into space and said, "Wherever. They're hiding." At the same time, deep inside Council territory, a secret Council admiral was boarding his personal ship. He wore black robes. His ship was unmarked. He didn't trust Earth, but he feared the truth more. "We need to erase the files," he told his pilot. "The humans can't see the list." But it was too late. Before the ship could leave orbit, 3 human stealth drones locked onto it. They didn't destroy the ship. They hacked it, took its data, and they vanished. Inside the data files was a list of names. High-ranking Council members, pirate funders, weapon smugglers, war profiteers. All of them. Exposed. Earth now had everything it needed in the human fleet. A private room lit up. A young alien journalist named Rika, from a peaceful race called the Selnari, was inside. She had begged Earth for access, and now she had it. She was shaking. As she recorded her first message, "I am inside the human fleet. They call Earth a death world. What I see is order, power, sadness. These are not monsters. These are survivors, and they are moving like thunder." Behind her, human soldiers trained. They didn't laugh. They didn't rest. They prepared. Rika looked into her camera. The galaxy never came when Earth cried for help. Now Earth has come for all of us. In secret places, other races began sending messages to Earth, not warnings. Support, we've lost people too. We believe you. Help us next. And one alien leader said, the Council lied, the Deathworlders speak truth. The Earth fleet had destroyed Galvex 3 in minutes. Galaxy was still talking about it. Some called it brutal, some called it justice. But everyone agreed on one thing. Humans don't wait. And they don't play politics. At Galactic Council headquarters, things were falling apart. Council leader Moran Vel sat in a locked room with his advisors. Reports filled the screens. Citizens protesting on council worlds. A small planet's cutting. Trade ties. Secret documents leaked showing council deals with pirate groups, and worst of all, sir, our own people are asking why we didn't help Aliris. Vel rubbed his forehead. He looked tired, angry. We must stop Earth No before they bring everything down. On board the Indomitable, Commander Rex Ward stood in silence. He watched as new reports came in from across the galaxy. Poor colonies asking for help. Survivors of pirate attacks sending thanks. Hidden council crimes being uncovered. Ward didn't celebrate. He just turned to his officer and said, load all evidence into the broadcast files. Make it public. Lieutenant Voss looked at him. You're not sending it to the council? No, he said. We're sending it to everyone. In a few hours, the entire galaxy saw the truth. A message from Earth played across thousands of planets. Commander Ward's face appeared, calm but serious. To the people of the stars. We now know that the attack on Alaris was not random. It was done with weapons approved by the Council. It wasn't a failure. It was betrayal. Earth will not let this pass. Behind him, a screen showed pirate camps, Council weapons, and secret funding trails. We are not diplomats. We are the result of your silence. Now we bring the truth, whether you like it or not. The reaction was instant. Across space, riots began. On small planets, angry civilians stormed council offices. Many shouted the same new phrase, the Deathworlders speak for us. The council tried to stop the spread, but it was too late. The humans had broken their wall of lies. At the same time, a neutral reporter named Rika continued her journey inside the Earth fleet. She recorded videos daily. The galaxy watched her every word in one video. She stood inside a training hall. Behind her, human soldiers ran obstacle courses, carried heavy gear, practiced hand-to-hand combat in heavy gravity. Rika looked tired, but amazed. Humans train harder than anyone I've seen. Not because they enjoy violence, but because they expect it. Their homeworld is full of danger. They brought that same toughness into space. Later, Rika sat with a young human pilot named Jace Keller. He smiled politely. His eyes were kind, but sharp. Why don't you work with the council, she asked. Jace laughed lightly. Because they care more about rules than people. Care about the ones who cry for help. Rika paused, then asked, are you not afraid of starting a war? Jace's face changed. He looked serious. We don't start wars. But if someone hurts the innocent and hides behind big words, we finish it elsewhere. Inside a dark council bunker, leader Vel prepared a secret plan. He met with a scientist named Dr. Olran, a tall alien with dark gloves and a metal eye. We need to stop Earth's broadcast signals, Vel said. Shut their message off. Dr. Olran nodded. Project Silence is ready. Once activated, their fleet will lose all communication. They'll be blind. Vel smiled for the first time in days. Good. Let the Deathworlders talk all they want. Soon, no one will hear them. But Earth was ready inside the Indomitables. Lower decks. Deep AI systems monitored all channels. One of them, known only as Dawnstar, activated quietly. Incoming cyber attack detected, it said in a soft voice. Origin. Council bunker for 2B. Commander Ward listened. He didn't panic. He just gave one command. Trace it. Strike it. Within moments, 3 Earth stealth ships launched. Silent, fast, hidden. They didn't send warnings. They didn't wait for permission. They melted the Council's signal base. From orbit, the the Council lost their voice. But Earth's voice grew louder. More alien species sent messages of support. We see the truth now. Help us too. We trust Earth. Inside a broken council hall, one ambassador whispered. To another, we thought humans were beasts. But maybe they're the only ones acting like leaders. The galaxy was watching. Earth had destroyed the pirate base at Galvex 3. They had exposed the Council's secrets. And now their ships moved with one purpose. Not to protect, but to punish. Inside the command bridge of the Indomitable, Commander Rex Ward stood in front of a glowing screen. Red lines marked dozens of new targets. Council weapons factories, hidden smuggler stations, private war camps, each one linked to the people who attacked Elleries. Ward spoke just 2 words. Begin retribution. In Earth's military network, a system activated. A deep voice echoed inside every warship. Protocol. Retribution online. Red lights flashed. Old codes unlocked. New weapons armed. Ships changed formation. Fighters deployed like blackbirds of war. Drones flew ahead. Silent. Scanning everything. Earth's fleet wasn't just defending anymore. It was hunting. Meanwhile, Council headquarters leader Moran Vel was breaking down. He slammed his fist on a table. They just attacked our factories. His assistant looked pale. The ones making illegal weapons, sir? That doesn't matter? Vel shouted. It's our territory. Another officer ran in. Sir, 5 more Council worlds are protesting. And 2 colonies just declared independence. Face turned red with rage. Earth is out of control. But back in space, the Death Worlders were moving fast. They reached a Council weapons lab on the ice moon KR Oven-6. It was hidden, secret, protected by robotic cannons. Humans didn't ask questions. They landed hard, destroyed the guns, confiscated the files. Inside, they found something worse than weapons. Experiments on living prisoners. One soldier vomited. Another stood frozen in horror. Commander Ward looked around the dark lab and whispered, "This is what they funded." He turned to his troops. "Burn it, erase it, make sure the whole galaxy sees what they were doing here." Within hours, pictures of the frozen lab were all over galactic media. Caged beings, tortured subjects, test logs. Signed by Council scientists. The Council tried to deny it, but the images were real. They couldn't hide anymore. More worlds broke away. More people started whispering. Maybe Earth is the only one telling the truth. But the Council wasn't giving up. In a shadowy base, a secret plan was launched. Operation Iron Silence. It was simple. Destroy the Indomitable. Kill Rex Ward. Send a message to Earth 10 Council. Warships surrounded the Indomitable near the asteroid field of Vernox Drift. They didn't warn. They didn't ask questions. They attacked. Missiles flew. Energy beams burned. Space shook. Inside the Indomitable, alarms rang loudly. We're hit on the lower hull. Shields at 60%. But humans didn't panic. Commander Ward stood tall and calm. Activate Void Echo. Deep inside the ship, a special weapon came online. It was old, illegal, created on Earth after their own near extinction. Its name, Void Echo. A blast of invisible energy pulsed out. The enemy ship's own weapons turned against them. Missiles. Reversed. Lasers bent in space. 2 ships exploded immediately. The others tried to run, but the human fleet was already there. It was over in 4 minutes. 9 Council ships gone. 1 disabled. The galaxy was in shock. The Council had sent a death squad, and Earth had crushed it, not with numbers, but with fearless strategy and weapons never seen before. At the same time, Rika, the alien reporter traveling with the humans, recorded a new message. She stood in front of wrecked Council ships, now floating like broken bones in space. They call Earth dangerous. They say humans are too wild. What I see is a species that fights only when they're forced to. And when they fight for others. Behind her, human soldiers helped alien refugees off a damaged Council ship. One child held a human soldier's hand. Inside the Indomitable, Lieutenant Voss sat beside Commander Ward. "Why don't we take power, sir?" We could rule now. Ward didn't even look at her, because we don't want power, we want justice. Later that night, Earth Command received one message from Ward. Retribution in motion. They burned one planet. We shut down 10. There. Darkness is ending. We don't play politics. We bring the light. The Earth fleet had become a storm in the stars. They burned pirate bases, exposed council lies. They protected the weak and punished the guilty. But still, many didn't understand why humans were doing it. What made them this way? Why did they fight so hard? The answer was found. In a small metal box, it started when a wrecked human dropship was found on a frozen moon called TUR-VA-9. The ship had been lost weeks ago during a quick strike mission. Inside the burned hull, rescue teams found a small data chip. When it was opened, they discovered something powerful, the personal diary of a fallen human Marine. Her name was Sergeant Leela Breen. She had died saving 3 alien children from a collapsing council lab. The diary held her thoughts, voice logs, and memories. Earth Command shared it with the galaxy, and it changed everything. One entry from Leela's diary played across millions of screens. They call us Death Worlders. They say we're too wild, too dangerous. But we don't. Fight because we enjoy it. Fight because we were left alone when we cried for help. Now, we make sure no one else feels that silence. We don't run from fire. We walk into it, not to conquer, but to pull others out. The galaxy went silent. Even some of Earth's critics stopped speaking. Something inside. Those simple words touched everyone. It wasn't just war. It was purpose. It was the human code. Rika, Dale, the alien reporter aboard the Earth fleet, recorded her reaction. She sat with tears in her eyes, holding Leela's diary in her hands. I have traveled with humans for weeks. I have seen them bleed. I have seen them carry others. And now I know why. They carry pain, but they use it to protect. She looked into the camera. You can destroy their ships. You can insult their world, but you can't kill their reason. That's what makes them different. All across the galaxy, people began writing the human code on walls, signs, and ship holes. Protect the innocent. Defend the forgotten. Never let silence win. It became more than a phrase. It became a movement. But not everyone was moved. In the dark corners of the council, the traitors gathered again. Leader Morinvel met with secret commanders. He slammed Leela's diary onto the table. They turned a dead soldier into a symbol. The people are following them now. One general growled. Then we destroy the symbol. We hit the Indomitable. Hard. Vel nodded slowly. If we break their hope, we break their will. Back aboard the Indomitable, Commander Rex Ward stood in silence. He had listened to every word of Leela's diary. He had fought beside her. Now, she was gone, but her voice remained. Lieutenant Voss stepped beside him. The Council is preparing something big. We intercepted a high-level signal. Let them come, Ward said softly. Why? We're outnumbered. Ward turned slowly, eyes sharp. Because we're not alone anymore. And he was right. The next day, something unexpected happened. Fleet of alien ships appeared beside Earth's armada. They were not Council, were not pirates. They were civilians from planets, saved by humans. Refugees, farmers, retired soldiers. All had heard the diary. All had chosen to stand. One alien. Commander opened a channel. We don't have much. But you fought for us. Now we fight beside you. The humans didn't cheer. They simply nodded and made room in the battle formation. The new fleet painted a phrase. Across their hulls, we remember Lila. That night, Rika sat on the lower deck. Of the Indomitable, she was quiet, holding a child who had been rescued from Turve-9. The child whispered, Are the humans going to win? Rika thought for a moment, then answered, They already did. But far away, the Council's final plan was moving. A fleet of 20 warships had gathered, heavy destroyers, long-range cannons, stealth missiles. They had one goal: destroy the Indomitable. The Battle of Vernox Rift had begun. In open space, near a shattered asteroid belt, 20 Council warships flew in tight formation, moving fast, silent and deadly. Their target was clear, the Indomitable. And this time, they weren't sending warnings. Inside the Earth flagship, red lights flashed. Multiple locks, missile barrage, incoming. Shields at 80%, still dropping. Commander Rex Ward stood calm in the center of the storm. He didn't shout, didn't panic. He simply said, "Protect the support fleet. Hold this line." Outside, Earth's warships moved into position. Alien support vessels joined them, less powerful but brave. They weren't trained soldiers, but they had chosen to fight. The enemy didn't care. The Council fleet opened fire with everything: torpedoes, lasers, disruptors, gravity bombs. The sky lit up like a burning sun. The first explosion hit the Iron Soul, an Earth support ship. Its left engine was torn off. 2 decks vented into space. But the crew didn't run. They sealed the breach and kept fighting. Then another blast hit the Saren Hope, a civilian ship from Alaris. Fire poured through the lower decks. Inside, a young alien boy screamed. A human marine grabbed him, shielded him with her body, and carried him to safety. She was bleeding, but she smiled. "We don't leave people behind." On the Indomitable's bridge, Lieutenant Voss shouted, "We can't hold this line. Too many incoming." Commander Ward looked across the bridge. His crew stared back, waiting for his call. He tapped a command key. A secret option appeared. Last Stand Protocol. Atlas Flame Voss saw it and gasped. That weapon was never tested. "It's not for winning," Ward said. "It's for surviving." Outside, the enemy ships closed in. 1 Council destroyer, CNS Reich's Verdict, locked onto the Indomitable. Its captain grinned. "End them." The Council launched a full spread of warheads, each one strong enough to break a moon. But then, Void Echo Cannon activated for the second time. Reality bent. Energy rippled across space. Several enemy missiles reversed direction. Others exploded mid-flight, but it wasn't enough. The Indomitable shook violently. Sparks flew from the walls. Fires broke out. Hull breach Sector 3. We've lost Engine 2. Weapons offline. Commander Ward looked around. His people were exhausted. Some were wounded. One crew member whispered, "We can't win." But Ward raised his voice. "Listen to me. We are not made of steel. We are made of fire, and fire always spreads." Suddenly, a new signal lit up on the sensors. A group of alien ships jumped out of hyperspace. They weren't Earth ships. They weren't Council ships. They were volunteers. From across the stars, refugees, traders, scientists, miners, all united by one idea: we remember Lila. Their leader opened a wide broadcast. "We are not warriors, but the humans stood for us. Now we stand for them. Let's burn the sky." The battle turned. Together, humans and aliens launched a new counterattack. The Council warships, shocked by the sudden reinforcements, lost formation. 2 Council ships collided while dodging fire. Another was destroyed by a civilian freighter that rammed it at full speed. The tide was changing, but victory came at a price. Council missiles struck the heart of the Indomitable. The command deck exploded. "Commander." Ward was thrown across the room. Fire, smoke, screams. Lieutenant Voss ran to him, blood running down her face. "Sir, get up. We're not done." Ward's voice was weak. "Then finish it. The code: never let silence win." He collapsed, unconscious. The ship was dying, but the message was alive. Lieutenant Voss took the command seat. She wiped her eyes and gave the final order: launch the Atlas Flame. A massive energy burst powered up in the Indomitable's core. One last ancient weapon, forbidden. Pure rage forged into light. It fired straight into the enemy fleet. Not a weapon of war, a weapon of memory. Each ship hit by the Atlas Flame didn't just explode. They broadcast one message before going dark. You silenced their cries. But now, the galaxy hears them. When the light faded, The battlefield was quiet. Only a few ships floated. The Indomitable was broken silent, burning. But it had not fallen. It had stood, and it had inspired millions later. Across the stars, stories were told of the fall and the flame, of how Earth fought with the few, of how aliens stood shoulder to shoulder, of how silence was finally shattered. The stars were quiet now. The great battle at Vernox Rift had ended. The Council's fleet was shattered. The Indomitable was wounded but still alive, and across the galaxy, people were rising, not in anger, in unity. Inside a deep council chamber, leader Maureen Vell paced like a cornered animal. He was the last of the old power, the last voice of control. Now his empire was breaking around him. The people, they cheer for Earth, he hissed. For Deathworlders. His assistant spoke softly. It's not just Earth anymore. It's everyone. Vell's eyes narrowed. Then we silence everyone. He turned to a hidden console. He activated the final code, Project Scorch, back on the Indomitable. Repairs had begun. Inside the medbay, Commander Rex Ward stood slowly with help from Lieutenant Voss. His face was bruised. His ribs broken, but his eyes burned with purpose. We're not done, he said. Voss nodded. We intercepted a council transmission. They're going to erase 10 rebel colonies. Total wipeout. Ward's voice dropped. Scorch protocol. They'd rather burn their own people than admit defeat, Voss said. Ward's hands curled into fists. Then this is the final stand. Earth's ships began to move once more. But this time, they were not alone. From every direction, ships arrived. Selnari scientists, Alarian farmers, Martian miners, refugee fleets, old pirate ships, now free. Hundreds of vessels, thousands of voices. They formed a circle around the last council stronghold, the core world of Velis Prime. It was protected by an AI firewall. Thousands of drones, and orbital cannons, but none of that would matter, because Earth was no longer the only fire in the dark. Rika, the alien reporter, stood aboard the bridge with a live feed running, a galaxy-wide. She held her mic close and said quietly, "The galaxy is watching. And today, it decides what kind of future it wants." Commander Ward gave his last order. No fear, no mercy. Let them feel every cry they ignored. The Earth fleet surged forward. Alien ships followed, forming a wall of light. The battle for Velis Prime had begun. Council cannons roared. Defense drones flew in swarms, but this time, the attackers didn't stop. Because this time, they weren't fighting alone. Each human ship was covered by 3 alien allies. Each blast returned by 5, and when the Council tried to shut down, Communications Earth amplified the voices all across the galaxy. Screens lit up with one message. This is not just Earth's fight. This is everyone's. Inside Velis Prime, Council leader Vell stood in his bunker, his power failing, his troops surrendering. He tried one last thing. He activated Scorch. But instead of firing, the weapon shut down. A new message appeared on his screen. "We remember Leela." Vell stepped back in horror, and then the bunker door exploded. Commander Ward walked in, covered in dust and battle armor. He stared at Vell. "You wanted silence," he said. "Now you'll listen." That day the council fell, its leaders arrested, its crimes revealed, silence ended. But Earth didn't take over. Instead, they helped build a new council, one made up of small voices, of forgotten worlds, of people who never had a seat before. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Months later, Rika stood on a rebuilt Alaris, speaking to a crowd of children. Behind her, the stars were calm. "There was a time," she said, "when the galaxy was quiet because no one dared speak. Then the Deathworlders came. They did not speak with words. They spoke with action. They didn't take power. They gave it back." Commander Ward stood quietly on a mountain, watching a new station being built in orbit. A girl, one of the rescued children from the battle, walked up to him and asked, "What do we call the new station?" He looked down and smiled. "The Flame."